Muy buenas tardes, mi gente. Aquí con ustedes, la comadre B, with another episode of Comadreando aquí y con café. Halloween is coming, guys. Halloween is coming, and I wanted to dedicate this month to cases that happen on Halloween. A lot of these are unfortunately situations that ended up going wrong. That's what the point of this series is for Halloween, right? Before I get too much into the month and the cases that I have for you, I do want to disclose that I do not know anybody on any of these unfortunate events. These are all stories that I have dug up on news media's main source would be LA Times. You can find them yourself as well if you Google them. So I just wanted to disclose that I am in no affiliation with anybody that I speak on. With all due respect, I just want to share their stories so they are never forgotten. And at the same time, make sure that everybody knows what happened. I know one thing is to not be forgotten. Another thing is your story to be told. So that is the purpose behind these episodes that I will be sharing with you guys on my Halloween series this October. So with that being said, we will get to the first one. And I want to take you guys back to a Halloween party back in the year 2000. I'm gonna get my book because ya saben que la comadre B no se acuerda de nada. The date was October 28th, to be exact. It was an elite Hollywood party, which was up in the canyon at a place called the Castle. It was a mansion. Alright guys, so what happened in this castle over at the Benedict Canyon? They were having a Halloween party. Obviously, it was October 28th, a couple days before, and everybody that was somebody was obviously invited, right? You had actors, you had the this and that of Hollywood, and it was now 1 a.m. and the police were called to this said mansion on a noise complaint. Okay, so there was two officers that pulled up for this situation. One of them was a 3-year veteran by the name of Terrell Hopper, and his partner was Natalie Humphreys. When they showed up to this property, this huge party had hired security. Obviously, no querían que, things get out of hand, this and that. So as they pulled up to this property, they were met by one of the paid securities, which, welcomed them. Hey, what's going on? They interchanged their words. We're here on a noise complaint. Where is the owner? Well, this security took them into the house, into the kitchen, said, you're looking for so-and-so, gave them a description, and said that is the owner of the house, one of the owners. Okay, the police officer stood in the kitchen. They started, looking around. Había un party, So on the side of the kitchen, there was a door that led to, the outside of the house, kind of like a hallway, a pathway, if you will. This officer, Hopper, started making his way out to this side of the house. It was dark, so he turned on his flashlight. As he kept going along this pathway, he was met by a glass door where there was 3 men talking. Okay, this is where things get ugly, guys. Very, very ugly. Out of the blue, there was shots fired into this room with the glass door. Fue un desmadre. What happened? People started running. People started looking. People were shocked. People were, try not to get involved. Like, what the heck happened? After those 9 shots rang out, there was a man dressed as a devil that dropped to the floor. Once this man dropped to the floor, it was said he was obviously deceased. Who was this deceased man dressed like the devil that was shot 9 times and is now on the floor? He happened to be an actor. He was actor Anthony Lee, age 39. A lot of you guys might recognize him if you look him up from the movie Liar Liar. He was on a lot of TV shows as well. One of his most known shows was NYPD Blue. What happened? According to Officer Hopper, this devil turned around and pointed a gun at him. He felt his life in danger, so he let off his gun. I don't know. Did it happen? I wasn't there. This is the report. So it is said that out of the 9 shots that rang, 4 did manage to hit Anthony. And he did have a fake gun, which was a replica of a Desert Eagle Magnum gun. Okay, well, a bunch of party goers were, shocked that this happened. Like I said, everything happened so quickly without warning. A lot of them say that obviously it was a costume Halloween party. People were dressed as police officers. So when these two walked in, they didn't really pop out too much. So they feel like they should have made their presence known and obviously sat there and introduce themselves properly, show a badge, that kind of stuff. So again, everybody was just in shock that this happened. The party goers insist that they never made their existence present there. So it was kind of hard to even notice that there was some kind of situation going on. Officer Hopper's response was, "You react as you were trained." We're going to skip over to December 4th of the same year, 2000. This now is the moment of truth. They release Anthony's autopsy. And to start, the autopsy report showed he had alcohol and cocaine in his system. Good time, right? It was a party. Just kidding, Russ. I don't condone none of that. Okay, anyways, the main point and evidence was that all 4 shots that Anthony received were given to him through the back. He was shot once in the back of the head and 3 on the back. So this is a conflicting story that the Officer Hopper said that he felt his life threatened because Anthony pulled out a gun and pointed at him. How can you point a gun at somebody if you're not even facing them? Right? So obviously, Officer Hopper was lying. Anthony never pointed a gun at him. This man was just shot. The autopsy also showed signs that the wounds Anthony had were as if he ducked or moved when he seen Hopper's gun let off. So I don't know. Did he see the gun go off and turn around and run? I don't know, but that's what the evidence shows. Witnesses added that this replica gun was big time fake. It had a orange rubber tip, so anybody that knows such guns or guns period would know that it was not real. Being that Officer Hopper was a trained officer, he should have already known that this gun was not real, right? It was very noticeable to the eye. When the men were talking with Anthony, the 2 men that were talking to Anthony when all of this happened, One of them happened to be the house owner. So he was the one that the police officers were looking for. They both claim that they had post-traumatic stress and filed suits against the police department, as well as Anthony's sister. Her name was Tina. Okay, during this court hearing, it wasn't clear what exactly happened because the main witnesses that let the police in and this and that was the paid security, which were nowhere to be found. Was it a case of the hush hush? I don't know. They were nowhere to be found. LAPD ended up settling with the sister Tina for the amount of $225,000 all the way in the year 2003, I should say. Yeah, that was it. That was what Anthony's life was worth. $225,000, guys. Qué vergüenza, qué lástima, qué cosas, right? So the LA County DA launched an investigation to see if protocol was obviously as directed, which every officer is stressed to do, right? They even went as far as having a computer reenactment to explain how Hopper, reacted that night, the scene of the event, all that kind of stuff, to make sure he was in policy because he was using deadly force, right? Or he used deadly force, I should say. After all this was done, after this investigation, after this explanation, he was only ordered to get additional training to improve his tactics. Not even a slap in the hand, guys. Just go back to training. Wow, right? His statement was the same. He never changed it. He walked to the room with a flashlight, pointed it. Anthony removed his mask, went to his waist, grabbed his gun, and Hopper let off. That was his statement. That is what happened. The family and friends of this actor all say all this was bullshit. They say that Anthony was obviously a seasoned actor. He knew better than to point any kind of gun at anybody. So for Hopper to insist that Anthony pointed a gun was a bogus claim. They said, jamás. Anthony would never do such thing. One of Anthony's friends that had talked to the Los Angeles Times paper said, quote, right? He is a black man who died in a white neighborhood. His biggest fear was to be killed by the cops because he was a tall black man. What a fear, what a reality, what an ending, what an unfortunate event. Halloween season is among us. Lots of parties are among us. Take this time, guys, to talk to your teen kids that might be going out and partying, to always be responsible with whatever accessories they might have. Times are really ugly right now, really crazy. There's no respect for life anymore. So please be smart about how you present yourself. Don't give anybody a reason for anything, because as you see, everybody at the end of the situation claimed their life was in danger. They felt threatened. It was self-defense. Okay, another thing I would like to throw out there, I always tell mothers and fathers, especially our fathers know this very well. Brown, no matter what shade, darker or lighter, especially being a man, a young man, are always gonna catch some heat. It's unfortunate. It's the way of life. It's the way it is. Again, teach your boys a little bit of extra manners, I guess, how to carry themselves in a polite, mannered way where they don't come off as any kind of aggressive, because that right away gives everything and everybody a negative backlash, guys. May God be with us, with our sons, with our husbands, our brothers, because things like this happen more than we would like it to. So if we can avoid it, let's work together and do this. Let's avoid this. 25-year anniversary coming up for Mr. Anthony Lee. You are not forgotten. Your story is not forgotten, and that is why I decided to start my series this year with this story, because it was unfair and unfortunate. So, with the most respect, like I mentioned at the beginning of this episode, I will be sharing more and more unfortunate events as this. And Mr. Anthony Lee, may you rest in peace. And again, you are not forgotten. Con eso los dejo, raza. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I will see you soon. Los adoro. Bye.